Hello.
Okay, so you understood it. You can take a screenshot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
You have taken it?
just
Yeah, sure.
yes.
Okay, so next we are going to see some of the forms, correct?
Hmm.
Okay, so whenever you want to get information from the end user, we use it to get it by using the forms, right? HTML forms. Yeah. So what you have to do, right? You have to develop these things, right? Similar forms by using HTML, and also on click of submit, you have to show the validation. Suppose if I didn't enter reviewer, you have to show enter a reviewer. Reviewer is required. Are you seeing?
Yes.
Okay, if I enter a reviewer, so what it is showing? Title is required. Okay, like this you have to try to develop the application, and also on focus of it you are seeing different color.
Yeah.
Are you seeing here?
Yes.
Earlier we won't see that type of color, right?
Hmm.
So review is required. Okay, so you have to develop like this, and also we have a select box right here. So select box also you have to give, like this is optional. By default product one is selected. Okay, but yeah, this you can leave it. This product is also mandatory. Okay, by default you can select with no value. Okay, that you can try. Okay, in this example you can perform the validation of our input element, select box, as well as text area you can add, as well as this is what we call this one,
Okay. Question.
radio group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so any one of them only we can select out of this, right?
Okay.
So this also you can put it as a star and perform validation on this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this is the example you can practice. And next, okay, so become a mystery shopper. This is also one more example, right? So
Yeah.
what we have to do here, so states are there, right?
Hmm.
Okay, states here, I don't want to hardcode these states,
You don't want
which
to?
means hardcode these state values. Like if you want to write like this, how many states we have? Around a number of states, right? You are
Hmm.
seeing like 100 or 50 may be there, right? So if you write 50, how you are going to write? Like this we have to write it option.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hard code like this. I want to, whenever the page loads, I want to display these states from an array of states. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay, what you have to do, you have to store these states information into an array, and dynamically you have to display the value of this select box.
Okay.
Values of this select box. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever I select state, right, country. Okay, so what you have to do, countries you have to populate first, correct? Reverse
Yes.
these two values, country, state. So, okay, you have to create one map.
Okay.
Okay, so country, countries, COUNT array. Okay, country array you are going to create, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, in this array, what you are going to maintain? You are going to maintain the countries list, correct? Yeah. Once you maintain country array, you will populate the countries here, correct? So once user selected the country called India, so what you have to do? You have to display the only states which belong to this country. CP, KA, KL, correct?
Yes.
So this information you will maintain inside of your map. Correct?
Yeah.
Map is a country name. Value is your value is an array of states. Like this, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to try this examples on your own. So next, unemployment status. This also you can populate it, correct? You can put it in an array and try to populate these values whenever our page loads. Okay, next. Age also you can do like that. Correct? Okay. So next form we are going to see. Okay, employment application form. So in this also you don't have any something like it is a simple form only. Okay. Earlier to this one you don't have any new things, correct? To learn. Yeah. So this one is contains the checkboxes and radio buttons, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you have to give star for everything, means required. Okay.
Okay.
So whenever I enter or click on submit button, after entering all the values, you have to show these values somewhere in the screen, like entered values kind of thing. Okay.
Okay.
So here user must be able to choose at least any one of the checkbox. Otherwise, you should not allow him to perform submission.
Okay.
Correct? In the same way, how many times in the last 30 days have you visited our website? This also you have to do it. Radio button. Okay?
Okay.
And age validation also you have to do. Okay. Next form, hotel reservation form with the dates. Okay, so arrival date and departure date. You are seeing, right?
Yes.
What is this field? Some date value is coming. Okay, so what you have to validate here? So arrival date. Whenever we are going for a hotel reservation booking, what should be the arrival date? What are the validations that we have to implement or required for arrival date? Can you guess?
Um, it should not be same as the same today's date
Okay,
and before the day also.
correct. Yeah, it can be same as today's date.
Okay.
Sometimes it's okay, but if you have a time, right, it can be more than the current time.
Okay.
Yeah, that will be based on the business specification also sometimes, correct? So, but always the arrival date should not be the before the today's date, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And for departure date, what should be the validation?
I think same applies for arrival date, but I mean,
Correct.
same as
Yeah, departure date should be greater than your arrival date, right? Or it can be equal,
yeah.
but it should not be less than the arrival date, correct?
Yes.
It can be equal. On the same day, user can check out. Maybe if we took for one day, then that time he may check out on the same day. Like suppose 6 hours check-in is there, right? Example I'm saying 12 hours like that. So departure date always should not be less than the arrival date. That is the validation you have to do it. Understood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Must be greater than, or it can be a future date. So these are the things you have to try on your own. If you have stuck anywhere, you can ask me anytime.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to do this, what I can say, like this CSS also. First complete the UI and JavaScript part. After that, concentrate on the CSS as well, so that you will learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you have to do, think of like copying of this form on your own.
Okay.
Yeah. So next we'll go to the next concept. Okay, next concept is JSON. Have you heard JSON? What is the JSON?
No, I have.
JavaScript. You didn't hear, right? Okay. JavaScript object notation. Okay, JSON is very important. I will tell why it is important. Since if you go for any project, you must require to work on the JSON. Okay. So JSON is a lightweight text-based data interchange format. Okay, so if we want to pass any data between the systems or between the application or between the client server, we must require to pass this information in the form of a JSON. Okay, currently most of the systems are using JSON only to exchange between the systems. Okay, so we can exchange like any format we can exchange like XML or text-based, anything we can do it. But most of the applications currently using only JSON. Okay. It is completely the language independent.
Okay.
Right? So it does not depend on any language, which language you are going to use. Okay, so some applications may use .NET, right? Some may use Python, some may use Java, some may use Node.js, right?
Yeah.
So suppose if we are having a requirement to invoke from .NET to Java service, correct?
Yes.
Need some information to get it from Java application to .NET. So we have to send the data in such a way that it should be independent of our language, right? So since source system is .NET and Java is the destination system, if we send the data in the form of Java, the .NET is not able to consume it. Right? So we have to pass in a manner it should be the language independent, correct?
Yeah.
So we must pass this information in the form of a JSON. Okay. It is based on the subset of the JavaScript programming language. Okay, next. It is easy to understand, manipulate, and generate. Okay. JSON is mostly used to transfer the data from one system to another, right? It is used by all major programming languages. Next. It is useful to pass or to send the information from our web application to the server or from web application to the client or client to web application. So we will see this information, how the request will goes from client to server. That we will see after completion of our JSON. Okay, most of the web services use JSON format for data transfer. So next, JSON data types. JSON have data types. What are those? It contains the number. Okay, number type can be represented for any type of number, integer or double or float type we can define for number. String. Okay, string we have to always represent in double quotes. Okay, next Boolean. Boolean can be true or false. Next, array. Array is an order sequence of values, right? This is also one type we have. Okay, null for empty values. Right? And also we have object. Object contains the collection of key value and base. Okay, next, JSON object. Okay, JSON object is a set of keys along with its values without any specific order. Okay, JSON object is a set of keys. It contains along with its values without any specific order. Okay, next. Some of the generic rules we have to follow while creating the JSON object. Okay, first one. Always the JSON object should start and end with the braces. And with the braces, right? So the start one is this one, end is this one, correct? Yeah. So next one. Key fields always must be represented by double quotes. Represented in double quotes. Okay, so in case of our JavaScript object, for keys it is optional, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. But in case of our JSON object, for keys we must always represented by double quotes. Okay, next. Values are represented by keeping colon between value and keys. Correct?
Yes.
Are represented by keeping colon between value and key. Next, JSON key value pairs are separated by a comma. Key values are separated by comma. The values can be of any data type like string, integer, boolean, or null, or it can be an array, or it can be an object, right? Values can be of any JSON type. Clear, right? So far, any doubts?
No.
No. Okay, so what is the simple JSON we are going to create? So first one, what is the first rule? JSON always start and end with the braces, correct?
Yes.
First rule we followed. Next, key fields always represented by colon, double quotes, right? And next, values are represented by keeping the colon between value and key, correct?
Yes.
Okay, next, key value keys are separated by comma. Correct. Here you can see the key value are separated by comma. I can say department null. I can keep it as a value. So which means it doesn't contain any value. So in this way we can represent any JSON object. Okay, now JSON trace. If we have a array of values, how we are going to represent, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Arrays in JSON are similar to the ones that are present in our any programming language. Okay.
Yes.
The array in JSON is also an ordered collection of data. Okay, it is mostly similar to the JavaScript. Okay, the array starts with the left square bracket and ends with the right square bracket. And the values inside of our array are separated by comma, correct? Like how we are representing in JavaScript, in the same way we can do it here. Correct? So this array can be a value to our key, right? Following?
Yes.
Yeah. So the key can be an object as well. Okay, so here we have fruits, right? So next, I can take an object like for department, I will consider as an object. Correct? This object can be as a, like how our JavaScript object, like this it can be, have it. Correct? So here, name of the department, IT. Okay, next. What else we can have it in department? ID, something like this. Correct? Okay, comma we can get. So here, fruits we have only one thing. So next. Okay, this is one example. Next example. Suppose I have a employees, right? Or the students I have. Okay, a class can have a number of students, right? So what I can do, I have to represent like students colon what it is, it contains an array, right? Inside that you will have student objects. Understood?
Yes.
Each student will have a name, correct?
Yes.
And also contains the ID and for which course he enrolled. Okay, like this we will have information for every student. Okay, so here what is the student's type?
Array.
Array type, and each value in this array is
T1.
object, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this object contains the key and value space. Those are name, ID, and course. Correct? Yes. So if we, what I will do, sample JSON file with multiple records. We'll see what we will get. Okay, download. Okay, we got the JSON. Okay, we have this much file you are seeing, right? It is difficult to read or understand this file, correct?
Yeah.
It contains 8,000 lines, right? So if you see, it contains feeds and all the things, correct? So suppose if you want to view it properly, what we can do, we have some viewers, right? If you type JSON viewer, okay, if you go to any one of them, if you paste the content, now if you click on this viewer, by default it is formatted. We can format it also. You are seeing that. If you see the viewer, you are seeing properly. See here, it contains feeds array, right?
Yeah.
Under each array, you have total feeds 199 we have, but he mentioned 125. I'm not sure. Okay. So under each array, you have some properties, right? JSON properties. ID, title, description, location, and also you have one array, multimedia array, right?
Yes.
Under that you have what you have? ID object set, object you have. Under that you have object you have. Under object you will have some properties. Okay, so in this way we will try to view any JSON whenever we have. Okay, any doubts? No, good. So next we have two built-in methods to work with the JSON. What are those? First one, JSON dot stringify method we have. JSON dot stringify. Okay, what this method is going to do? It is going to take an object and it converts the object into a JSON. Okay, next we have JSON dot parse. Okay, what it will take? It takes the JSON as an input or argument. Once if we pass the JSON, what it will do? It converts the JSON to an object. Okay, understood it. So what we can do? We created one object, right? Or one JSON. This is our JSON, right? So I will convert this JSON to let employee is equal to okay. So if you copy here, now employee is a string, but it is contains the information as a JSON, right?
Yeah.
Understood?
Can you explain me again, please?
Yeah, sure. So employee is a string, right? We put it in double ticks.
Yes.
Yeah, but the string is a JSON here. This is JSON, right? I'm trying to convert this JSON to an object. What is the method we have to use? JSON dot
Parse.
parse method, correct? JSON dot parse of we have to pass employee, right?
Yeah.
So what it will do? Unexpected string in JSON at position 76. Okay, so what we missed? We missed comma, correct?
Yes.
Here comma is missing. So I'll clear it. I'll create once again. whenever you will have a improper JSON, you will get errors, correct? You're seeing, right? The object got returned back. Now, if we have an object, right, how it is going to convert it to JSON, where student object is equal to name, right, name and designation, sorry, name ID, 1000, courses. I can take an array, right? AR, A, React. Now we have created student object. Now JSON dot, how we can convert an object? Stringify, right? Object to JSON here.
Okay, object to JSON.
Yeah, now you can see console.log of JSON dot stringify of student. Okay, you can see that it converts to an object, sorry, JSON object. So now in some cases you may have methods, right, for objects. Yeah, something like this you will have, correct? Yeah, some methods this will have. What it will happen? Just it ignores these methods while converting to JSON. Okay, it doesn't take those methods while converting into JSON. Clear, right? Yeah. So next we will see how HTTP will work. Okay, client server. So whenever we send a request, what happening? Whenever we are receiving response, what it is going to happening? So if you take any application, you will have client and server, correct? Did you heard these names, right? Client and server. Okay, the client. Okay, what is server? What is client? What is server? Okay, we can say simply server is nothing but which should run 24/7, right? Because it is going to serve for the applications, right? So if it stops, what will happen? Your businesses are going to be down. It is a huge loss for the business, right? We must always make sure the server is running. Okay, the client. Who is the client? The client is someone who is trying to access the information on the server, correct? Okay, it can be the client can be a end user, or it can be another application, correct? Or it can be any from application also. User can try to get information from server. Okay, so for ours, the client is the browser, we can say, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So next one, how the data will go from client to server. Okay, so the information will goes to the client to server via a protocol called HTTP protocol, right? What is the full form of HTTP? Yes, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So now, whenever we send a request, okay, the server, what it will do, always it is trying to serve our request. So once we send the request, the server tries to understand the request and it sends us a response back, right? So what type of request that the user can ask? Right? Whatever the items that we have on the server, we call them as resources. Okay?
Okay.
The resource can be a image, right? Or it can be if you are accessing YouTube, right? What is the response you are expecting from YouTube, or for which resource we are trying to access? Video, right?
Yes.
It can be audio, or it can be any file, Excel file or Word file, any file, right? Or it can be a JSON file, or it can be a HTML file, or it can be a simple text also, right? Sometimes. Okay. These are the some of the resources that we are trying to access with the at the server side. Okay, so now we have to understand what a HTTP request contains, what HTTP response contains, correct? So you can say HTTP requests always have the domain, right? And a resource. What can be a resource? A resource can be of a image, or it can be video, or it can be anything. A method. Okay, what is the request method that we are using? Okay, we have get, post, delete, add, trace. We have around 7 to 8 request methods are there. And also it has the headers. Headers, right? Headers contains extra information for the server. Like okay, what is the accept language, or what is the browser that user trying to access. All these information contains in the headers. Okay, and also it contains an optional request body. Okay, get requests usually don't have a body, and post requests usually do. Okay, so HTTP requests always have a domain, resource, method, and headers. Okay, and also optional request body. Clear, right? Yeah. So now I'm trying to access any URL, right? So let me search for it. Okay, if you see here. So here we are trying to access the image which is stored on the server, right?
Yes.
So we are passing on request to the server. Okay, what is the request contains? Domain. Are you seeing? Yeah. The domain is something. This is the one, right?
Yes.
Okay. This domain contains the URL, right? So next, this call it as a URL. Okay, URL contains the host as well as some other information. What is the host here? This is the host, right? Correct? media.istockphoto.com. This is not okay. Okay, so under this URL, we have another parameters also, right? You can see host or domain, and apart from that, we have some other information as well. Okay, so now, if you see the GET request, how it should look like, right? So every request contains in this way: request line, header fields, empty line, and message body. Okay, every request contains request line, header fields, empty line, and message body. Okay, and inside this request line, it contains method, URI, and request HTTP version. Okay, so you're following, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So every request contains in this way, okay, which contains request line, header fields, empty line, or message body. So under this header fields, you will have user agent, accept encoding, host, connection, content type. We will see some of the requests. Right? So we have HTTP methods. What are those? Get, post, and we have others also. We will see them. So first we will concentrate on the get request. So what we are saying, we are trying to get some information which lies at the server side, correct, by using the get request. Okay, so first line contains the request URL. Okay, so this is the path to the source on the web server. Okay, the path is something like login.jsp. Okay, so and also we are passing the parameters to server. Understood?
Yeah.
And also by default it contains the protocol version. Okay, so whatever the parameters that we are having, question mark and separated by ampersand. Are you seeing? Okay, these we call them as request parameters. Okay, this one we call them as a request parameters.
Okay.
So what are those request parameters? Okay, we have user Jabir is one request parameter, and pass is equal to Java is another request parameter. Right, so and also we saw this one, right? Here you are seeing, do we have any request parameters here? No, right?
No. No.
Yeah, since the request parameters are having path to the source, and next it must contain the question mark.
Okay.
Okay, and separated by key value pairs, and each separation is by ampersand.
Okay.
Understood? So suppose we have a google.com, right? If I search images, so what happened? What you are seeing? You are seeing, see, this is the URI path, we can say, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you have, this one, see, those are like request parameters. We call them query parameters or request parameters. Okay, you can see source is equal to HP. I don't know, mine is Lenovo laptop. I'm not sure what is this source. This information can be understood by whom? Google server, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we will get the response back. So now, in case, and also we have the request headers. You can see the request headers.
Yeah.
So what are the request headers we have? Host. The host is nothing but for which server or for which domain we have requested. Correct? You know IP address, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the use of IP address?
It's a unique address for each computer.
Correct, right? So each domain you have to know. Each domain is mapped to an IP address. Okay, if you okay, ping google.com, right? What you are seeing? You are seeing some number here, right?
Yeah.
So each application is deployed on a server that is like a simple machine, right? So you can see whenever you will try to ping google.com, you can see the IP address of it. So remembering the IP address is difficult. That's why we have a domain names, right? So now host we have. Next, user agent. What is the user agent? Correct. User agent is nothing but a browser, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Next, accept. Accept is something. What is the content that the request can accept? Okay.
Yeah.
Content type. Next, accept language. We have, what are the accept languages? EN, US and EN. If you change the browser language, you will get to know. We can change the browser language, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Accept encoding. What is the type of encoding that it is going to accept? ggip, deflate, something like that. Accept char set. Some char set it is going to accept. Keep alive and connection. These are the request headers that are passing whenever we are sending any request from our browser. Okay. So next. So you can see, if we want to send any information in the GET request, we can send the information by appending to the URL only. Okay? We don't have the body. So whatever the information that we are going to send via GET request, right? That we can send via URL only. Okay, the URL can't be having not more than 2048 characters. Okay. So never use GET method if you have password or any sensitive information to send to the server. So something like we have a URL like this, right? So clear. So we have http application.com/ login, right?
Yeah.
User is equal to ROM and pwd is equal to ROM. Okay, is it the correct way to pass the information via internet? No, right? So it contains the sensitive information. Are you seeing?
Yeah, your username.
Password. So, okay. So we must not pass any sensitive information, okay, via GET method. Are you seeing? Since whatever the information that we send via GET method always will be visible in the URL. Okay, we can send via URL only in the form of request parameter. Okay, so GET is better for non-secure data like query strings in Google. We saw that, correct? Okay, GET can't be used to send any data. Okay, so something like you have any file uploads or something, that we can't be able to do it by using get request. Okay, next we have to see the post request. So this is get request, post request. Okay, so post request, what it contains? It contains the request body. You are seeing, along with the request headers, correct?
Yeah.
And also it contains the one new line here, and after that it contains the request body. Okay. Sometimes we call this as a payload, correct? Request payload we call it as. Okay, so this request can be a request body can be a binary data, or it can be a JSON, or it can be an XML, or it can be any file also, if you are sending any file, right? Understood?
Yes.
Yeah. So the request always contains the request method, and for which path, request path, right? For which we are trying to access the resource to the web server, and also it contains the protocol version as well as the request headers, right? So now it is time to see about the response, what it contains. Okay, shall I go ahead, or tomorrow we'll see? Sorry?
We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So, okay, we'll see about the what response contains tomorrow. Okay, we will meet in the tomorrow's class. Thank you.
Thank you.